think we'll wait for just another minute and then we can start the session. But welcome to everyone who is joining. So with that, I'd like to start our session today on understanding opportunities in Portugal, a guide for UAE and India-based professionals. Although we will still be covering all of your questions, and this is for anyone considering the move to Portugal. And we are thrilled to have you join us here this evening. So before we dive into our questions, I would like to take this moment to highlight why Portugal is drawing so much global attention right now. Portugal has transformed from a beautiful holiday destination into a prime hub for global citizens. Today, it is recognized as an exceptional place for families, individuals, and people who are looking for a safe environment, a high quality of life, an excellent international schooling system, and other educational institutions. And beyond education, Portugal has a strong economy, welcoming expat community, and strategic location. And this has created incredible investment opportunities, particularly in real estate and business sectors. It is now becoming an excellent place to live, work, and invest. And to talk about Portugal from my own perspective, I moved here to study a course at Nova SBE in Portugal, which is ranked very highly worldwide for its courses in management and finance. It has also a very modern campus, and they encourage a lot of networking activities and have some of the best professors in the country. So in my opinion, the whole experience was definitely worth it. And to help us navigate the exciting opportunities Portugal has to offer, we are privileged to be joined by Dr. Sandra and two guest speakers today, Sian and Shania. First, I would like to introduce SGP Sandra Gomes Pinto and Associates and Dr. Sandra Gomes Pinto herself. She has been a lawyer for over 30 years here in Portugal. She has assisted international clients in immigration, litigation, buying property, investments in Portugal, and she has also lectured at one of the top law universities in the world in Heidelberg. Her office, SGP Sandra Gomes Pinto and Associates, is dedicated to helping individuals and families make their move to Portugal seamlessly. Getting clear answers about moving to Portugal can be complex, so we are here to guide our clients through the entire process. And we have already assisted more than 500 individuals in moving and investing in Portugal. I would now like to ask Dr. Sandra if she could briefly introduce herself, her firm, and how she helps clients who come to her.
So my name is Sandra Gomes Pinto. I'm a lawyer here for over 30 years. I worked in a big firm I was a partner for 17 years. These last 10 years, I created my own office. And as Marisa said, we have also a legal department for arbitration and litigation, but mostly and foremost, we have been assisting people that are moving here. We make sure they have a flawless legal process, but we have a team that is extremely committed to the persons that they actually have a smoother relocation and a happier and healthier life. And every day we have new stories of people that are super happy. They say just a few weeks with a different pace of life, with the food, with the weather, we feel so much better. And I believe that me and my team, we live for that. Again, it's a great pleasure to do this with Marisa, and it's a great pleasure that Xian and Shania agreed to do this with us. And they are bright professionals from the marketing sector. They have fantastic roles in UAE. And because at this moment we are having so much contacts from India and UAE, we found that it would make sense to join these two jurisdictions and have Xian and Shania that are Indians as Marisa, and that in the case of Xian and Shania, they are UAE residents. So they can ask the questions that our typical contacts from UAE and India would ask in respect to visas, investing in Portugal. So thank you so much, Xian and Shania, for doing this. And without, the floor is yours. You can start.
Thank you so much, Dr. Sandra. We've both been living in the UAE for the past 3 years now. And we worked with Dr. Sandra in the past as well. And she's like the whole team is a pleasure to work with. We've only had a really good experience all this time that we've been working with her. So I'm Sian, and this is Shania. And I we just prepared a few questions that would help people who would be thinking about investing in Portugal or anything related to having residency in the future when it comes to maybe retirement or even acquiring citizenship. We've prepared a few questions that people would generally have. So I think I will just jump right into it. Firstly, I just wanted to ask, what are the core differences between the Golden Visa, the D7, and the D8 visa, and how does someone know which one would fit their timeline and their lifestyle best?
Thank you so much for the question, Shian. This is a question that we have a lot from Indians and also from people residing in UAI. So typically, one of big difference is the golden visa requires you to invest in Portugal, whereas the D7 or D8 do not require you to invest in Portugal. The average investment of the golden visa is 500,000, although there are also investments of 250,000 euros. So the golden visa requires you to invest. The D7, D8 do not require you to invest. But the golden visa do not require you to reside in Portugal. So if you are not in condition to reside in Portugal or do not wish to do so, the option to have a safe harbor in Portugal and in Europe would be the golden visa. The D7 and the D8 are for those that are in condition to have their family life based in Portugal. So two main differences. Golden visa requires you to invest, but you can have it and have residency in Portugal without residing effectively here. The D7 and D8 will require you to reside in Portugal and have your family life centered here. The D7 is for those that have passive income. Passive income is income you don't have to work for, such as rentals, dividends, royalties, pensions, social security. This is passive income. And you have to show that on average you earn 920 euros, which is the minimum wage in Portugal. The D8 visa is for those that have active income generated by work, irrespective of the form of this work, as long as you are working remotely in Portugal and being paid by a foreign entity. But it can be labor work, you can be an independent contractor, you can be a service provider. The legal form of your contract is irrelevant. What is relevant is that you are in Portugal working remotely and are being paid by a foreign entity. And although the word, the expression is digital nomad, you can be a manual worker working in Portugal, but if you are being paid by a foreign entity, it can be a D8 visa. So it's any profession, any activity, as long as you are being paid by a foreign entity.
Got it. Thank you so much. So since you explained the difference between the D8 digital nomad visa and like the D7 visa, I just wanted to understand if someone has a D8 or a D7 visa, is it possible for them to later transition into having a golden visa?
Yes, it's possible. They can transition into the D7 into the D8 and vice versa, and also with the golden visa. That will, of course, some complications and formal work, but this is possible.
Okay. And if someone's goal is to simply have like a plan B European residency without having to relocate their whole family immediately, which visa, according to you, would be the most viable option?
That case would be the golden visa, because both the D7 and the D8 would require you to reside in Portugal and have your family life based here.
Got it. Got it.
And just before your next question, I would just like to encourage our viewers to leave their questions in the chat, and we will be taking up your specific questions as well. And for the first 20 people who contact us, we've already dropped our contact details in the chat. If you would like to have a consultation with us, we are offering this for the first 20 people who get in touch with us. Sian, you can continue.
Thank you so much. So the next question is, now that real estate is no longer an eligible route for investing, what exactly are the regulated 500,000 euro investment funds, and like how safe are they?
So there are several possibilities. You can create 10 jobs in Portugal. There are several possibilities. I would say the normal one would be to invest in Portuguese companies or in funds that are regulated by all the authorities for that purpose. Or to also, there's a possibility of a donation in heritage or cultural stuff, which then it will be half the amount if you're willing to do a donation to acquire residency in Portugal. So typically it's funds or an investment in Portuguese companies, and you should do this investment. And this is also very strictly regulated, but you should be doing this investment with your financial advisor at your hand, as you would be doing any other financial investment that you'll be doing. And you can have a very good investment in Portugal, and on top of the good investment, you can also benefit from having residency for you and for your whole your family. It's possible. In one case, we had a family of 5, and it was one investment with one golden visa investment. They could bring the 5 kids, so it's 7 people plus the grandparents and the in-laws. So they could all together 11 persons in this specific case could come with one investment.
Oh, that's really interesting to hear. Um, I also wanted to ask if, if someone invests around 500,000 euros, is there any in the golden visa, like for a golden visa investment, is there any way that they could like split the 500,000 into different funds, or does it have to be like one big amount that they have to?
Possible as long as they comply with certain formalities. This is a
Okay.
possibility. And I would like also to add that for the golden visa, if the investment allows you to do that, and if you don't want to keep the golden visa status, you can sell it before the 5 years. So you're not, if there is not a specific regulation on the funds, typically you are not stuck to this investment. You can sell it if you do not wish to hold the golden visa status.
Got it. So if someone basically sells their funds, they would also have to like give away the golden visa status.
Yes,
And
yes.
then they could, but would that still be open for them to acquire maybe a D8 or a D7 visa in spite of giving
Yes,
up their
yes.
golden
They
visa?
meet the requirements and they fulfill the whole process, of course.
Okay. Okay. So my next
If I
question,
can
yeah,
yes, if I can just
sure.
take a question from the chat.
Yeah, sure. Go
Have
ahead.
a question from Armando Ruiz, asking about Portugal taxes and when does someone become taxable in Portugal, Dr. Sandra?
There are several criteria. One of the criteria is to reside here 183 days, but these criteria should not be understood in an isolated way. You should also show signs that you intend to stay longer. And typically, according to international conventions, you should have your family life based here. But from a very practical point of view, in many cases, you really become a tax resident in Portugal when we go to the portal and present the competent documentation for you to become tax resident in Portugal. So you typically have some control over the moment you become tax resident in Portugal. But the fact that you are a golden visa holder and or a D7 or D8 holder, which has to do more with immigration, doesn't mean that you are immediately tax resident, or doesn't mean that you immediately have to pay taxes in Portugal.
Yes, you can continue your question.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So since you said D7 visa depends on passive income, what specifically would qualify as passive income? And are UAE property rental incomes or Indian mutual funds also accepted?
So, as I said before, but I think it's important to emphasize, passive income is income you don't have to work for. So these rentals, these funds, all these income generated by investment that do not require you to work is passive income. So interest, dividends, pension, social security, royalties, all these, it's our passive income. And it can be generated in any jurisdiction. In that sense, there is no limit. And it's a quite broad concept. Any passive income generated anywhere, that is income you don't have to work for.
Okay, got it. Thank you so much for explaining that. If someone secures a D7 visa through passive income, are they still legally allowed to work remotely for their UAE based or Indian based companies?
Yes, they are. But
Okay.
typically, someone that is working from abroad, the typical visa, it would be the D8 visa. But
Yes.
you can come under D7 and still work here.
Okay. So I'll hand it over now to Shania because she has a few questions as well that she has planned. So yeah, over to you, Shania.
Hello, Dr. Sandra.
Hi.
So let me just get started. I just wanted to understand who exactly qualifies as a dependent for family reunification. So what I mean is, can someone bring their aging parents in India, because that's something I would consider, or their children who are studying abroad?
Okay. For sure, if you are coming under a golden visa, for sure immediately. And typically people above 66 years are considered dependents. If you
Okay.
are coming under D7 and D8, then you'd have to show dependency. You have to show that you do provide for your parents and that they depend economically on your households. In respect to the children, typically, if the children should not be married, they should not be married and they should depend on your household. So, and they should be studying and you should show that they are dependent on your households.
Is there an age bracket for the children, or is it just
Typically, I think in Europe, if you are until 25 and you are
okay?
studying, that this is acceptable, even a little bit later, if a person is doing a master or something, but you should prove that the children are dependent on your household and typically they should not be married.
Perfect. Okay. And if someone is the primary applicant of on a D7 or D8 visa, does your spouse have the right to seek employment in Portugal?
Yes, as yourself from day one, which is not the norm
Okay.
in the other exist similar visas in Europe. This is not the case in Spain. This is not the case in Italy. So you can work from day one. Your family can work from day one. You can own any type of business. You can own property without any type of restriction from day one. And this is a liberty that Portugal lives according to its tolerance legal practice, but
Yeah.
it's not the norm in other European countries, and it's a huge advantage. I would say that the D7 is one of the easiest and best visa to have residency in Europe at this moment.
Okay. And what about golden visa? Do their dependents also have to meet the 14-day stay requirement to keep their residency?
Yes, they have.
Okay. And are the financial thresholds for dependents a flat rate, or does it scale differently for spouses versus children?
Yes, there's a difference in the D7 and D8. In the golden visa, you can bring your children, all your children, without additional costs, with one investment. With the D7 and D8, you have to show that in the D7, the 920 euros, if you're bringing your spouse under your visa, you have to add 50%. If you're bringing a child, you have to add 30%. But your wife can also come with an independent visa. And it's possible for it, you can organize it economically as it suits you. So one parent may bring one child and the other may bring the other.
Okay, that
So
makes
even
sense.
for the spouse, if you're bringing the spouse under your visa, you have to add 50% on your income. If you're bringing a child, you have to add 30%.
Got you. And now this is about the tax. How can someone get Portuguese NIF, which is the tax number, and open a local bank account without leaving Dubai or Mumbai or any of or India basically?
Can do that remotely,
Okay,
representing them with a power of attorney. This is something
okay,
we can do in the office.
perfect. And finally, the last question that I have is to get a passport in the near future, does someone need to be fluent in Portuguese, or is there a language test that someone has to appear for if they need to acquire the Portuguese passport?
So you have to have an A2. If it's not by descent, it is not because of your ancestry. If you're acquiring through your parents, you don't need to do that. If you're
Okay,
acquiring through your grandparents or by naturalization because you reside in Portugal, then you have to have the A2 level of Portuguese.
okay, perfect.
Yeah. I just wanted to ask you like one question that I just thought of during this call. So, since you have been working in this field for so long and you've helped so many people, I just wanted to understand what is like the most common visa that people usually go for.
I think we particularly have a lot of Americans that came under the D7 visa, but we also have people that do not want, it depends on their situation, that are not in conditions to reside here immediately and is still applied to the golden visa. And we see a tendency also of Indians that work remotely, coming to work remotely in Portugal, being paid by UK entities because they understand this is a good place to have a good life, more affordable, to raise children, to create a family in a tolerant, a very safe environment that is also prone and beneficial for those that who want to have creative projects and want to create their companies and start businesses here.
Okay. Thank you so much for answering all of our questions and you explained everything so well.
Yeah.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you. I had also some questions since we have some audience from India. I have some questions to Marisa, and I would like her to explain us a little bit what she felt if she feels at home in Portugal. I think she will not dare that she doesn't feel. And what was the experience? Why did she chose Portugal to study? And how did she find Nova University? And the experience having done her master here, I would like to hear her a little bit in
Yes.
that sense.
I think I chose Portugal because it's very similar to home. And I feel, of course, coming here and having lived here for now 2 years, I feel at home and it's really safe. I stay near my campus, which was in Carcavelos, and that whole area, it feels like it's a big community of people who are always willing to help and willing to reach out to you if you need anything also. And the reason I chose Nova is it's an excellent university. It's one of the most well-known in Portugal, but it's also ranked very highly in the world, and you constantly see it coming up in the ranks in it for its finance and its management courses, and they have a wide range of courses that they offer as well. And even some of the other universities in Portugal were on my list. So again, universities here have gone high up in the ranking as well, and they're known for its quality education and even the professors as well. And besides that, of course, there's the lovely food and the people that are very warm and very willing to help, and they're always available. And yeah, I think that's one of the main reasons I chose Portugal, and I'm very happy with my decision till today. So even when asked, and if someone asks me to recommend a place or something, I always say Portugal will always have a very special place for me. And yeah, it was one of the best decisions I made as well.
Okay. So Thank you all so much. It is a pleasure for us all to do this webinar. And thank you so much, Marisa, for sharing this with us.
Yeah.
I think for all of us, we are proud that Portugal is not only a touristic destination, it's not also only chosen because it's a lovely and pretty country, but also because it's a nice place to develop businesses and to study. We have more and more people. We have a lot of Germans coming to study in Portugal, which of course makes us very proud. Thank you for being with us today. Thank you. Thank you, Shian and Shania.
Thank you so much.